Greetings everyone, my name is Addervale, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Mega Man Maker. One day following Halloween edition. Here I'll be showcasing levels that I find online and a few that are basically focusing on those mainly submitted by you viewers and a few others I find online. I'll be doing this for about the next 2 hours and then I'll showcase art on the server. Welcome to the stream, Sunflower Azumarill, Buster, Raccoon, Jedok, Jaden, Matty Boy, and Popcorn. Starting soon. Well, it is starting soon, it was like 4 minutes. I see, Jaden. Hope you get more time to rest. And happy Day of the Dead. Yeah, Mythbusters rocks. Sadly I didn't really get to watch them growing up, but YouTube really helps supplement that. Man, it's really great how they showcase science and also showed off while still showing off a lot of crazy experiments. One of the most memorable moments is when they recreated that scene from Drive. You know, the one where the bus just jumps over a bridge. That was nice. Alright then, as it's one day past Halloween, we still of course have this UI skin. So let's begin with this stage. Titled Dam Plant by Sunflower Azumarill. 65 plays and a score of 31. Oh yeah, also, in regards to a plot thread from last week, I watched that video on trying to get a star in Super Mario 64 while only pressing one button. You are right, Buster, that is an amazing video. Like, oh my goodness, it took more than 3 months to make. For good reason. Another nice thing about Mythbusters is all the amazing different crazy experiments that would be, which definitely fulfill the role of, okay, I didn't expect that to happen this soon. Oops, something has caused the game to crash, we're sorry for the inconvenience. Undefined, expecting a sprite to drop player. Okay. I am not gonna blame you, designer. I think it's because I was covered by oil and I was playing his role. Something went horrifically wrong with the teleportation. Hey J Banners. Welcome to the first level where we end up crashing by accident. Not the designer's fault. It first threw a full keg and it didn't blow up because of a lack of oxygen, probably. They drained 25% and didn't actually have enough oxygen and flow to actually explode dramatically. Yeah, I really need to watch the compilation there. But yeah, about that video from Panin, I watched it. It's amazing. Alright, take 2 at this. I'm gonna repeat the same step, except this time I'm gonna avoid being oiled. If it still crashes the game, well, then I won't even use the teleporter. Excuse me. I'll never take that other upgrade for all. It's a downgrade. Alright, also, here's the schedule. Tonight, I'll be finishing the level pack from Apple 1 to Triand. I won't be covering that much tonight because I'm gonna have a packed evening. And I'm gonna be hanging out with my friends and all. Slappy beat. And tomorrow morning, that being Sunday morning... Okay, it worked. And tomorrow morning, that being Sunday morning, Team Fortress 2 Halloween maps. Unlike the last few years, however, I'm not going to be really focusing on completing my contracts. Maybe I'll do 1 or 2 contracts, but my main focus is going to be trying out all the maps. That seems like a more fun thing. It's one day late Halloween, chat. It's close enough. Oh. Whee! Ah, getting washed off. Hey, Hyper. Yes, I do. No fan games or commercial games this week. Yeah, there's 56, and I'm not really a dedicated Team Fortress 2 player. I just play casually for the most part, mostly during the streams. So I decided, why focus on contracts when I'm not even gonna beat most of them? Like, I'm only gonna do 5 or 6 of them. Just focus on playing the maps that have been added and what have you. That seems more fun. So when we play tomorrow, I'm just gonna pick a random... I'm just gonna allow the map picker or matchmaker to choose from all the Halloween maps, or most of them, and work off of that. That seems more fun. Hey, Ixie Black. Oh, and next week, I will be covering those 2 3D Mega Man X games made by Lyre and Wait. Mega Man The Badlands, I'll be sampling that. And then, Mega Man Maverick City, I think? I know Buster played the latter and really liked it. As janky as it was, they enjoyed it, so I will be checking that one out in full. I'm well aware of Lyre and Wait's games and gamography. Like, I'm most likely not gonna finish Badlands because it's too basic. When I say Badlands, that's separate from Badlands crossover. That's a different game. I know. 2 fan games with a shared name. Woo! Ice. I don't know if it'd be a modern X game, but it is certainly the closest thing to what happens if Mega Man X would be in an open world game, except low budget, or very low budget, unpolished and janky, but low polished and janky is how I describe most of Lyre and Wait's games, or pretty much all of them. Lyre and Wait's games tend to have some pretty cool ideas, but their executions always leave something to be desired. Like, they made Mega Man 3D 1 and 2, and those are 3D Mega Man Classic games made with Game Maker 6 or 7, which is a feat in onto itself. Then they made, I played Mega Man Army and Mega Man the Rise of Ra Moon, I think Mega Man Army did a better job with the whole Metroidvania thing. But as it was cool playing as all the different characters, it just needed better balancing. As in, reordering what characters you got when, so you wouldn't break the stage by getting Buster G early. Oh? Darn it. But the issue is it doesn't work right, you'll see why. Oh, my apologies, EXE Black. Sometimes there's a lot of drive-by viewers or short-time viewers, it gets hard to memorize. And more importantly, too, there are moments where there are a billion enemies and projectiles on screen, they end up slowing the game really down. And worst of all, it's near objectives. I really feel like Liar and Wade is mainly inspired by the Flash era of fan games. Not necessarily literally in terms of technological not literally in terms of technological progress, but in terms of the overall design and experimentation, and keep hating to use the word jankiness. Knowing Liar, you're one of those people who makes a fan game, maybe puts one or two post-fix optimizations and bug fixes, but after that they just drop it and move on to the next game. That's why they have something like at least 6 Mega Man fan games out there, and 4 or 5 Zelda games. I actually played their first Zelda game. It has some neat progression, but oh my goodness, it would work better it would really work better if they had a map. But I am curious. I have a much stronger PC, so I'll see what happens when I get to those areas. If anything, it may actually be worse for me because it may spawn even more enemies and I'm probably gonna have to focus on explosive or AoE effects. Thank you for saying this level, Sunflora. I liked it more than the Aqua Dome stage. It's like a straightforward, breezy level. It's not really easy, but it reminds me of Genhawk's levels, but with better level design. Tend to be rompy, but in a good way. I know that may sound like a backhanded compliment to some people, but I consider that a compliment. Not all stages can be like the shining jewels in the set. Happy Day of the Dead, or Happy All Saints Day. Speaking of Genhawk, second up is Pumpkin Flood by Genhawk74, 84 plays and a score 42. As this is also the de facto Halloween Mega Man Maker stream, feel free to recommend Halloween themed levels. Fish. I love my makeshift shield. Excuse me. Ah, okay. Just down that water. Turn off the water. Switching between cherry and grape flavored. Oh. Spoopy houses in the distance. Thank you, EXE Black. In regards to Day of the Dead, I'll get to Buster's point, but let me say this. I always saw Day of the Dead as both a sad and jovial time. Well, sad because you're remembering those, you're kind of mourning those who you lost. But at the same time, jovial because they're celebrating their life. What made them so, remembering them in their happiest moments, and thinking of many, and using that as a springboard to keep going on forwards. I knew it. Hi, Pumpkin. Let me reiterate. I always found Day of the Dead to be more of a... it is a bit sad, sure, but I found it more jovial because you're remembering the best parts of their lives and celebrating it. Thanks. And frankly, if I wanted people to mourn me, I prefer to be more like the Day of the Dead style. Don't just be sad, but be happy. Am I still hoping for actual Mega Man X content? Sure. Oh. Here I go again, making the game harder. My mistake. Okay, that's a bit different. I couldn't see the... Oh boy. And I didn't die, okay. Thank you, damage boosting. Am I hoping... Am I hoping for more stuff from Mega Man X? Yes. Maybe it was most likely going to be more music, but... Gameplay additions, I don't know. Maybe the special weapons? We do actually have ability capsules now. Maybe life capsules can be added to mess around with the player's starting health. Okay, that is actually a neat setup and building off of something I talked about a few weeks ago. So, Jedog is iterating on this mechanic. I appreciate that. Enemies, yeah, that could work too. I'd say there are plenty of Mega Man X enemies that could work in a classic. Even if you don't have wall jumping, you can still make use. I think these songs are good, but it's a matter of taste. I really just want songs from across the board, from across the series. And better yet, an easier way to import custom songs. Well, I know we have NSF I know you can have NSF replacements, but something like an in-game system would be nice. It wouldn't work online, of course, but for offline levels. Yeah, the Xmod tribe was held back by Classic's restrictions, and because if they wanted to go further, they would have to rework a bunch of the physics engines. Okay, and to Jaden, in regards to the Steam X Fest, I think I said this in the server as well. I did. To everyone who isn't part of the server, Mad King Redemption was the last locally recorded demo I covered during the Next Fest. The last one of this year. So from here on out, the only things left are editing the stream VODs. And of course, after that, editing the stream VODs of 4 or 5 games. After that, I have to go back to Sage, because I didn't actually edit the videos for 8 games, or 8 demos, so I will have to do that. Bye, Rush Marine. But in general, I think I'm done with Let's Tries for this year. Maybe I'll do 1 or 2 more, but for the most part, yeah. Jeez. Oh boy. Help. Okay, it's 1 down. That's 2 down. You know, this is more involved than the usual boss fight I expect from Jedok. This is more along the lines of, well, not really the patios. There's be a lot more stuff happening. Oh, there you are. I'm using atomic fires so I don't just bum rush the boss. It already deals effective damage anyways. Who's left? Pirate. Hello? Oh, okay. I'm sorry, but that that just looks a bit funny to me. Yeah, and Freak Jam, of course. Here's the order I'm gonna do. First, I'm gonna do Next Fest, then Sage, then Freak Jam, because unlike the other things, I was the only streamer I can recall who covered them. But, yeah. December, probably. True, J Butters, I would like an X-Maker, but, Also, Jaden, if you're leaving commentary on those things, I highly recommend you post them under the Let's Tries as well. 1, the developers more likely will see it, and 2, it improves retention. I do accept NSS, but I've been a bit more restrictive because of various things. I'm sorry about that, J Butters. My favorite demo of Freak Jam 2 was Sticky Explosive Stacker. That was pretty well realized. Henry did a great job. As for this stage by Jedok, I'm actually surprised how much I liked it. Oh sure, it does have the Jedok-isms, as in, it is more of a rompy stage, but on the better side, and has good visuals. But the challenges involving hopping between the seesaw platforms and the pile driver platforms with spikes on top, that were neat. I wish that was iterated a bit further instead of... I wish some of the jumps were less horizontal. I wish they varied themselves more up vertically, like open up the section a bit. Make some more upside down V jumps. But, and the boss fight itself is also more intricate. Although it is multiple phases, so... Cool. I don't really have a... Oh, Sticky Explosive Stacker? Oh, it's simple. The reason it's simple, Jaden. Simple Flips already gets too many emails. They're too big right now, so any emails would most likely get lost, especially from someone they don't really know. And Henry is not even really part of this. And Henry isn't even part of the Simple Flips community or the Mario fan gaming or ROM hacking community, so there'll be even fewer people to vouch for him. Remember. And then there's also the important point of, do they really want the extra attention? Many times when people design things, whether it be fan works or works in general, they don't necessarily want more attention, or don't believe they will get the attention. If you really want them to submit it to Simple Flips, try getting into contact with them. Let's see. And I want to clarify a point in case I misspoke. Simple Flips has way too many things to actually stream and record. See, the same thing also kind of applies to me, but on a much smaller scale. Like, instead of having a million things to be covered, exaggeration here, I have hundreds or thousands of things. That's why I've gone more selected with requests and games I cover. Again, if you really want him to send it, just get into contact with Henry. And if you want to figure out where Henry is, join the Sage server. Now, if the community... Here's the thing. If you're a more notable player in a community or fandom, you have a better shot. Like, I would say that Megamed has a better shot compared to Sticky Explosive Stacker. As people have actually heard about Megamed before. Like, in other Mega Man servers, even Sonic servers now, so Team BBLIR is going places. Before I do this stage, I'm gonna have to do an NSF replacement, so give me a moment. Music. I understand you wish they sent it to them, but the way you phrased it sounded like you couldn't understand why they didn't. In the end though, it's worth giving a try, but don't get your hopes up. Anyways. Give me a moment, I want to check something. Why does the stage have a split score? What happened? Did Webmecha's website update? Yes. I want to do a double check. Okay, looks fine to me. Let's do it. Number 3 up is We Love Burning Halloween Town by PJ the Human. 3 plays and the score is 0. 8 up, 8 down. I like reading it, J Butters. If anything, I love reading those sorts of detailed diatribes. I mean, I love reading fan works, even though I don't really discuss it that much on stream because not enough people are interested. Here's the thing though, even though you can consider those things complaining, I consider it to be more respectful criticism. Like, I can... If complaining was banned on the channel, I would have to cite myself many times. And you didn't go off on the same points over and over across multiple streams. They're in the clear. Also, nice use of the different costumes for the various enemies. Beep, beep, beep. Ghosties. Let me finish the stage and I don't really have a list in the same way, Jaden. But I do... Let me just do it right now, actually, so you can build up. I don't really have a list in the same way, but I do have a playlist, Jaden. Will that suffice? I'll just DM it to you. It contains a list of 45 games I covered during the 3 Next Fest this year. That should be sufficient for a short amount of time at least. Alright. Those are the Next Fest demos I publicly released in the edited version. I'll send you the list of ones I covered during this one after I'm done with this stage. Also, the NSF replacements were quite nice. I'll do stage games after I'm done with the stage. Right now you can use the same list I sent you earlier. Like, if you scroll up in the if you scroll up my DM history with you, you can see I gave you a list of the games I covered during stage. Use that. Sure, Buster. We can hear something about to talk about. Oh yeah, tomorrow? I still would have recommended starting the yearly roundup in December, but we can do it now. We'll save December for the actual Let's Plays. This one's gonna be the Let's Tries. Go ahead, Buster. We're not gonna be playing MVM tomorrow, so... Bye. Ah, Mega Man only. Bouncy! I don't understand why this got a split score. Like, oh sure, there are a few tricky fire jumps, but you can damage boost if needed. Okay, so that was Pierce. The stock minigun is already very good. The stock minigun is already pretty good. Oh gosh, camera. I am not using any mods at EXE Black other than 2 NSF replacements sent by the level designer. The pumpkin skins were added by the maker devs. Yeah, it's cool. Do I have any desire to finish it? That's the Mega Man route where it connects. I am probably going to get back to it, Jaden, but I'm not going to edit it into an LP format. Too much wandering around, and I liked it, but I feel like the gimmicks aren't iterating as hard as I would prefer them to. Oh yes! Why aren't the bees harming me? What's happening? I mean hornets. See? What's happening? Did Roll gain bee immunity? Even Hornet Man can't harm me. What gives? Pizza. This is the first time I've encountered this bug with Hornet Man. I am baffled. Okay, he's talked about Anaya. Ruffy, I will get back to it as I said. Yeah, I wish there were upgrades. I wish there were more upgrades for the shield for medic. I know this is MVM, but I kind of wish there was some more quote-unquote sillier upgrades that allow the medic to become a makeshift battering ram. It can be a suboptimal strategy, but it could be a fun one. A stupid fun one, but yeah. But right now, the best part of the medic is Ubering. Also, Uber Saw is very powerful in MVM. It's already it's already pretty powerful in the main game modes, but in Man vs. Machine, with how easy it is to melee most of the bots, getting Uber is not that hard. Hasted, I expected Hasted blow up because A, pretty cool gameplay loop, 2, it's by landfall. Like, landfall already has a dedicated audience built in. Day in the Shell is also cool, but in a different way, but I need more time to spitz around my thoughts about it. Alright, give me a moment. I got the list. This is not in alphabetical order for Sage, by the way. This is in the order I've roughly covered them in. So as for this stage, I don't understand why it got such a split rating. Some tricky jumps, sure, but they're manageable. Okay, I'm gonna have to DM this to you because it's a little bit too long. And yes, this also includes things I didn't actually edit the LP, didn't edit the video into a public form yet. Beyond the Ice Palace 2, I have a question. The whole staggering, you know, Jay Butters, the whole discussion on staggering and guard breaks, I want you to bring that up again when I cover a Souls-like, because that is an important mechanic in many games, and it is interesting to discuss how different titles handle it. Or mishandle it. Isopod rocks. Like, I kind of threw that in because it looked cool and cute, and the Let's Try performed surprisingly well. Skin Deep. It's not the best immersive sim, but it is goofy and a nice introductory title. Quick Fix is the shield spammer. Got it. Eh, 3 weeks is more weeks than most games get. And frankly, that is on my to-play list because of a variety of reasons, and also due to a major spoiler. Twilight Monk's interesting because I both did a Let's Try of it, and I did a full game playthrough of it. So I'm gonna talk about it again in December. It was okay or decent. Art was amazing. Like, I have to emphasize, Twilight Monk's art is by far amazing. Some of the best artwork I've seen of a game this year. The rest of the game, maybe with the exception of music, is eh. I'm gonna play Freedom Planet 2 and Chrono Gear in the future. To comment on Jay Butters, with Chrono Gear, the level design is a lot better in the full game. The first stage in the demo suffers from first stage in a game syndrome. Yeah, the battleship level, well, it's complicated, but I'll discuss it in the full one. Sheesh, 43 minutes in, and only... Okay, sheesh, 48 minutes in, and only 3 levels done. I need to get a better move on. I don't want to do another hard stage by Lepanto yet. I'm gonna be stuck for another hour there. Are you Fan001? Is one of you in the chat Fan001? No, it's more interesting, Jay Butters. Unfortunately, I've reached the point where... most of the levels in Maker are just rompy and just forgettable. If anything, the discussions are more interesting. I have a... Please unban me. Huh? But... what? Hang on a second, let me check something. No, I can't see your messages on YouTube. I'm really I'm chatting with someone. I'm trying to see what's happening. Give me a moment. There may be an issue. Community moderation. Let's see. That is very strange because I'm checking the list of banned users here. Please Unban Me is not banned on the channel. No, I can't see your messages on YouTube. I was able to see it last week and the last time you appeared. Okay. Well, thanks for sending me the DM. I don't know what's happening. This is why I recommend following me on other social media platforms, just in case if you can't send messages on YouTube or Twitch. Okay. Board up is Mega Man 3 +6 Sparkwind, Hard Wind Plant. I will win. 1 play, score -1. Dishonored is also on my to-play list eventually. I actually think I own it. I have to check. Hero Quest is interesting because it's not really tied to one fan game, but the major figures who are making Hero Quest are known in the Mario 64 ROM hacking community. Known enough to the point where Simple Flips themselves covered the demo. Let me in. Ooh, shortcut. Second floor. Got it. Oh my. Actually, no, that top one's easy. Okay, back down we go. Rejected. Okay, I need to jump from a higher height. Okay, more messages. Yeah, Hero Quest is not exactly for me, but if you're someone who's really into Mario 64, maybe. Monica 2 is cute. I probably will play one with friends. Everdream Aura. Yeah, it is interesting. I find it cool that it was played by at least one major VTuber. Or more well-known VTuber from Hololive. Disaster Arms need... No Way Home's also... I wouldn't call Resident Blade Battle Network, at least in terms of gameplay. It's more cyberpunky, that's all. But... like, there are many things I could say about Resident Blade, but comparisons to Battle Network don't really fit to me. Like, there are other games than Battle Network out there. Moonlighter 2, I have to see how well the shopkeeper gameplay goes, and probably play the first one. Don't tell me I have to charge kick this. I literally just talked about Kazan, Jaden. Please listen more carefully. I just said that it had more weeks of fame compared to other indie titles, and I would eventually play it, especially due to the major spoiler. Isla Reveries, I'll talk about it more later, because there's another game I want to compare it to. Yes, I do need it. Oh boy. I want a full bar. No. Hi, Iwumi. Welcome to stream. Will I ever get that? Yeah, I should have never went up here. This is just ending up making it harder for me. I don't mind being forced to use it, but now we have a problem where I have to go back up in order to use it. That is, problem. And also, no weapon drops, only life drops. Unless I'm missing a point where I need to get some more special weapon energy. Got it. That was a bit of a waste of time. Well, I get more energy now. Gee, thanks. Like, I get the idea of this section, but... didn't notice the fan. See, I get the idea of this section, but do we have to really go up all the time to get one or three uses of it? Give me a moment, let me finish this section and I'll discuss what you're saying, Jaden, so you actually hear. I'm a bit worried that if you didn't hear when I talked about Kazan, you'll miss the other things, unless I explicitly pointed out. Oh, I didn't actually need to go up there because I still reserved it. This isn't even really puzzly, this is more execution. This is just execution based, except that getting to the point where you can redo it requires more time than expected. And probably should not have needed that long. Also, more time to react would be nice. Well, at least I get more energy to do it this time, so that is a shortcut. That is a makeshift shortcut. I like the special weapon usage, but there's also a point to be made of maybe reducing the amount of backtracking. At least if you get it done once, you don't need to go back up there, assuming you didn't overuse it. I need to get a clearer picture of this before I execute. Well, if this... On the other hand, if this was really like the patio tier... there'd at least be 4 times the number of spikes. Okay, 5. Okay, they won't squish me. The Elecans are not helping, though. Okay. Okay, this thing is cool, though. Oh boy. Welp, almost made it. My main problem with this section is the starting one. Like having to go through this section several times in order to regain the charge kick energy. The rest of the ones, they're fine. Like this isn't really, I want to keep emphasizing, this is not really a puzzle stage. This is more of an execution, where the execution is a little bit less standard than what we expect. And I like these special weapon-oriented stages. It's just the start which I would reorganize a bit. It helps being able to actually see what's going on. If anything, the biggest problems in these sections are the enemies, because I can't properly deal with them. Oh boy. It'd be easier to just try slotting into the hole. You're right, Iwumi. We're counting down a number of days before we have to confront Nagito again. I do appreciate this is forcing me to engage with the mechanics though, but I would refine a few elements of this so it works out better. No, back up. I appreciate that they clearly mark where the Elecans are, but and this could also be a lot harder. I need to destroy that block in order to proceed. That isn't a question. The problem is, can I actually make it back there successfully? Got it! Wait, what? Where's the checkpoint? Are you for real? Seriously? That trying to do that jump, trying to do a corner, the way you're supposed to do that in the intended way. See, the intended way of doing that is to do a corner air jump in order to land on top of the block, and then use that in order to make it through the crevice. I did it the harder way, but it's a lot more consistent for me to pull off. Like, that jump is one of the hardest things to pull off in this stage, and you don't get enough training on it, in my honest opinion. Because that is straight out of Kaizo stuff. Or maybe not Kaizo, but Diet Kaizo. I know, it's a bit subjective what counts as Diet Kaizo or whatever. But still, and these blocks are fairly damaging too. And you picked one of the enemy types that's difficult to engage with because of a lack of tooling. Like, I only get the 3 hits and then I'm dead. I nailed it first time, I don't know how. This is Sparkman, so it's not too difficult. Okay. Okay, now there's a checkpoint. Okay, I want to take a pause here. The two things that change are making it so getting the charge kick in the first screen of that section was a bit easier after you got it the first time around. Second, and maybe it's tied to that point, make that last challenge to get to the boss fight easier. And or if you don't do that, put a checkpoint before the start of that fight, please. See ya, Hyper. Like, that last jump in that section was, I would argue, Diet Kaizo, but, you know. Yeah, RDS is still one of the best stage demos I covered. Okay, I'm gonna take this pause because I want to talk to Jaden about these. Okay, I already talked up to Resonant Blade. Moonlighter 2, it really depends on the shopkeeping elements and how good that is. Eternal Lucis is neat. We'll see how the new footage goes. Shrine's Legacy is really like a SNES-style 16-bit action RPG throwback. I played this in co-op. Ragebound is still amazing. One of the best Next Fest demos at that time. The reviews are also very good. Neon Inferno, I'll get back to you on that. Mina the Hollower, that's the thing I wanted to compare with Isle Reveries, as they both pull heavily from Legend of Zelda, but in different ways. It made you uncomfortable? I know Mina the Hollower is notably darker than Shovel Knight, but outside the number of on-screen deaths, it's not that super dark. Like, plenty of other games have many people die on-screen or semi-off-screen. Lucky Squire, I don't know if I do a direct comparison. Pipstrello, probably. Tunic, eh. Alrevere is going also in a different direction by trying to include many of the gimmicks from the 3D games into a 2D setting. I've seen footage of the second or third dungeon, and it's quite involved. Chrono Gear, I talked about a bit already. It gets better. The full game's better than the demo. Absolem is also Absolem is also awesome, but it has a notably higher skill floor for a beat 'em up than I expected. Hence why we kept dying against the first boss. Oh, your internet's dying. Neon Abyss 2. I don't know. I'll look into that. More Souls is something I picked because Pixel Boy requested it. I probably won't play, but its art style is distinctive. Platypus Reclaimed is awesome. But it also depends on how much you like shoot 'em ups and whether you played the original. I played the original, beat it a few times, and it is a very faithful recreation with some awesome improvements. It does need some difficulty rebalances, especially in the late game, but overall I think it's a plus. Relic Abyss is, it is a survivor-like, but it doesn't do enough to differentiate itself from the others for me. Paris, Transylvania, I think Peglin's better. I don't know, it felt a bit too less tightly built. Micah Punk was unexpectedly awesome. It was one of the demos I just threw in because we had time, and it ended up being our favorite demo of that session. Also, my FPS became seconds per frame. Kumi Tantai, it does feel like a Danganronpa light. It also featured during the latest stage. We'll see. Aeromaschina, on the contrary, I really liked that, as it was a great showcase of being a Metroidvania and it was a great showcase of Metroidvania design while taking place in a 3D space. And there are many avenues for speedrunning, pretty crazy ways. Like, some of the speedrunning skips are kind of crazy. Unikids, not so much for me. It does fulfill its niche though. Star Revolver is something I play with friends. The EXE Black, yeah. The standard Mega Man experience is fun, but it's become very saturated in the community, and I'm someone who's played over 5,000 or 6,000 levels in this game, so the very conventional stages, unless they execute the main ideas very well, they don't interest me as much. Yeah, J Butters. And it's not like the challenge itself required no checkpoint. Identifile is actually a more non-standard roguelite. I'm gonna play that. Lost Falcon, Final Shell is also an but it's neat. Constant's also a great showcase of 2D Metroidvania design. Umi game, I'm split on whether I want to do co-op or not on this. Okay, give me a moment. Let's actually do the game. Let's actually do the stage before I have another 10-minute diatribe on stuff. Sorry. If you're watching this, and you probably are a fan, I'm sorry, really sorry. Okay, this is a lot easier than before. I want to make one thing clear. This stage has quite a bit of sauce to it. My problem is that it's not polished. There's weird segments that are harder than they should be, and it's lacking some polish. Homorahime is... See, during each Next Fest, I almost always try putting one demo from a genre I wouldn't cover. And Homorahime ended up being the one this time, because I don't cover spectacle fighters. But it was really fun. A lot easier than I expected for the most part. And if you were there during the outro section where I explained my thoughts, I talked about how I don't usually play those games, and I was really worried that it would turn me off with its skill floor or skill ceiling. Since I last saw Iwumi, she's become addicted to Uma Asume. It's too late. Oh, you've become a runner of that game. Nice. You know what? I'm gonna destroy this fan. I thought it was gonna help me, but it's not. Huh? Oh? Okay. Squish. Revenge. Okay. Be very careful. Eep. Ah, checkpoint. I was worried there wouldn't be a checkpoint considering what happened before. Gambling was a mistake. Godbreakers was one of the most successful Next Fest demos during that time, so I expected it to be interesting. The reviews for it since its release have been a bit more concerning, though. Like, the main issue with that game is, lack of content. Oh my goodness, you saved me, fan. Cosmic Invasion, yeah, we already raved about it enough. Reboot games hit the nail on the head, and I fell into a skull block. Again, Jaden, please leave your little bit less compressed thoughts on the game. Like, I know you made some commentary on the Discord server. Please also post those on the videos, so it's more likely the devs will see them. I see. Okay, that was cool. Cool. However, we can get this M-Tank. I mean, why not? Checkpoint's right here. I am badly misinterpreting this. Yeah, no. Oh, Times of the Tide? Yeah. Grab this. Activate. Don't get crushed. Oh no, I missed. Yeah, we'll call up for some of the demos I covered during the Next Fest. Steam Next Fest, to be exact. Once again, I reiterate to Jaden, I know it's a bit of a request. Could you leave your somewhat expanded thoughts on the YouTube pages for each of the Let's Tries, please? It'd really help out the devs. And retention. No. I'm not dead somehow. Is this supposed to be a fortress stage? If it is, then yeah, it is definitely amped up enough to be... I don't understand what happened there. Amped up enough to be a fortress level. Yeah, since licensed tie-in games are pretty much never good. The only other game series I can think of, but it's been inconsistent about that, has been The Simpsons. With The Simpsons arcade game and the GTA-styled games. Okay, Crazy Taxi and GTA style games. I thought it was one square to the left and it was trying to bait me. Again, if you leave these comments in the if you only leave these comments in the live streams and Discord servers, then most of the game devs will not be. Then pretty much all the game devs won't even see what your feedback is or thoughts, and these thoughts and these opinions can be really important for smaller game studios. So please. Also post these under the videos themselves. If you don't have enough time, just pick the ones that are your favorite demos and work off of that. Even just saying that this game is eh or meh, that can help. Leading right into a spike fall section. Checkpoint. How long is the stage anyways? Yeah, just do it in parts. But yeah, SpongeBob is surprisingly way better at this sort of thing. Let me out, let me out, let me out. It's starting to feel like this is 2 or 3 photo stages back to back. Okay, is this where we end the stage? This would be a good place. This is called Spark Wind Plant after all. I also say this because the difficulty curve is a bit, it would require some readjustment. I'd argue it requires some readjustment. Okay, it is. Whew. There are two or three good offboarding points in the stage. This was maybe one of them. This is definitely difficult, but that was mainly during the charge kick sections due to some weird polishings. Because the last okay, I don't want to sorry. Because that last screen on the last section involving the charge kick was the hardest part of the stage. Nothing really came close to it, unless I was missing something. This stage has sauce, but it needs to be compressed a bit, or split into 2 levels. Did I enjoy playing the stage? Yes, but it needs more work. It's kind of weird that this stage starts okay, gets better, gets worse, gets better, then worse. It's inconsistent with the quality, which is a shame because it actually forces me to engage with the mechanics and special weapons. And the way it's designed really feels like a Fortress level because it assumes you understand the basics of these mechanics and how they interplay with each other. And then after the charge kick setup, it does get easier, but nothing really is complex enough to supplement it, so it's weird, like it feels like 2 levels or 3. Bro trying to graph a sine wave in Maker. Again, Jaden, you don't need to have a full review. Even just like 50 or 100 words can be helpful enough. Like, what did you like the most? What did you like the most about this game? What do you thought was meh? What you disliked? Just make it like a bullet point, and you can do it pretty quickly. Save the full reviews for stuff you really like Homer Hime, Godbreakers, Constants, Umi Games, etc., etc. I am not going to downvote this stage because I liked it more, I disliked it, but it won't get my upvote, it's too messy. Okay, I'm going to take a short pause and be right back in 5 minutes. And I've returned. I see we have some new levels in. Hi, Sylv. If I have time, I'll see that level, Jedok. We'll see. Yeah, I am down for more fortress-type stages or special weapon-oriented levels. Anything that's more non-traditional. But, if you stray more from being traditional, that means you have less resources to work with, or rather, less things to base the things off of, use as a reference. I'm not. I'm accidentally hitting the left trigger button. Anyways. Fifth up is Pumpkin Tower by Heatman version 2. 170 plays and a score of 61. We should be playing more Halloween levels, or rather, I should be. As a reminder, tonight in about 7.5 hours, I'm gonna be playing the rest of Apple 123 Ann's level pack. Full screen attack. Now that's a series of levels which has some interesting ideas. I already know what the Sylv's level is all about, the one they submitted. And I'm unsurprised. Whoa, I haven't seen that one before. That witch skin. Pumpkin. Goodbye. Hello. I'm not forgetting about this route. Wow, just by changing the skin, it looks like a completely different... Just by changing the skin, it just looked... I thought I was in a completely different enemy. No, it's just a Joe. That's cool. Dead balls. Bonk. Can you stop using my head as a hula? Can you stop using my head as a basket? Well, one thing's for certain, they need more design. Or if they ever decide to make a Twilight Monk 2, what they really need is a more experienced level designer and game designer. Keep the same set of artists and musicians, though. Especially the artists. Keep the same artist. It's great. I think the artist, as a matter of fact, correct me if I'm wrong, but the main artist of Twilight Monk is actually the same artist behind the Twilight Monk novel series. Doesn't that look a bit awfully weird? I thought so. Let's take the easy button. Fruit. Oh. Suddenly, gravesite. It's weird because... oh my goodness. I love this reskin of that original enemy. In fact, I kind of like it. I like it more than the OG design. Kind of a shame in regards to Twilight Monk because It seems like they it seems like they understood the basics of what makes a Metroidvania, and I appreciate some of the differentiation, but didn't quite get the other things down. Okay. Where's the eye gonna be? I see you. Only 2 shots in? Sheesh. Is there a better solution? Maybe it's the shine. Oh my goodness, I forgot that it... I knew it protected me against projectiles, I didn't realize it just protected me against the yellow devil blobs too. That's incredible. As long as I don't turn. Alright, I found the easy button. And the actual weakness. Oh, cool, thanks. It was in the wrong direction. In that case, you'll be competing with Toxin G and Mega Marino's level packs. That'll be interesting. Honestly, for a level that's most likely in the most popular queue, it was fun. Bit rompy, but I do appreciate the alternate routes. And next up is a meme stage from Sylv. Not actually by Sylv, but submitted by Sylv. Asgore runs over death by Gabby H. 94 plays, score 31. It's exactly what it says on the tin. Beer. Garage. Driving in my car, driving in my truck right after a beer. Oh, pfft. No! Asgore realizes what's happening and ejects from the truck before this whole thing crashes into a giant tree, killing everyone. I mean, it's just a meme. I think it could have been shorter, but I think this was synchronized to the song. Well, I mean, maybe if I overlaid this music it would work better. It felt a bit overly long, but I like the original meme too. Frankly, it could have used anyone else. Honestly, I think would, well... I was gonna say Woodman, but Woodman can actually fight back. Consistently. This is what no chapters for 4 years does to a man. Which is why I'm surprised we're getting Chapter 5 in 2026 Q1. Because I don't want to do another difficult stage, I'm gonna do the easier stage by the patio. 7th up is Mega Man and the Supernatural 4 intro stage by the patio. 81 plays, score 44. Happy Halloween to everyone! Reminder to those who came later, or refresher. Tomorrow morning, tonight, in about 7.5 hours, okay, sorry. Tonight in about 6.5 hours, next level pack stream, gonna be finishing Mega Man Full Screen Attack by Apple 1, 2, 3, and tomorrow morning TF2 Halloween multiplayer. Not focusing on contracts, just focusing on having fun with the different maps. I do wish there was some Halloween themed I really wish there was some Halloween-themed Man vs. Machine maps that are new. I mean, I would use custom maps if we actually had more TF2 players on the server. Then I had more control over the mechanics and what have you. Oh yeah, and probably most of you don't care about this, but... let's see... Peak's latest update is coming out November 5th. We're getting a forest for an alternative biome too. And Repo's major monster update came out on Thursday. As a matter of fact, the game currently has a free trial available until Monday. So if you've been meaning to try out the game, you have until Monday to do so. I quite like Repo. For all the games I played in that subgenre, I liked Repo the most. And the monster update basically fulfills one of my main wishes of the game, that being a greater variety of monsters. My next main dream is to have more interiors, but that's been resolved via mods. They also fixed the difficulty curve, so the end game is consistently much more difficult. Oh, solid. Friend swap is itself kind of an it's more of an artificial term that was drawn up by people and then it was somewhat adopted. I use it more of a joking term. Really, the true subgenre I consider Lethal Company and Repo to be part of is extraction horror. It's a horror-based game where it is basically has a horror teaming to it, but the main focus of the game is getting some resources or something from an area and extracting with it alive. Ideally alive. You'll see me sometimes call things a friend swap, but I prefer... That's much more of a joking thing and not serious. Still, I appreciate how more games are coming out. Still, I appreciate how there's more smaller indie games coming out that are only cost 5 or 10 USD and can be played with friends. They don't have to be really long-lasting experiences. I'm just happy we have stuff that is very co-op friendly. And for what it's worth, it's fun for several hours. And hey, it certainly beats... And hey, I certainly prefer having that over PvP-focused games. Like as I've grown older, I've really come to enjoy co-op-focused titles and party games too. I mean, Repo is basically also kind of a party game. A lot depends on the game. Ooh, dancing mats. I mean, dancing dock drones. Yeah, in general, I prefer co-op. Usually in single player. Multiplayer, mostly basically PvE. Don't get me wrong, I like playing PvP games as well, but it depends. Like I love, as you've noticing on the channel, I've been covering more and more co-op games or games with a co-op element to it. They're fun. Like I'll say this, playing Peak in the single player, it's doable. Playing Repo in single player makes the experience way harder, and it changes the genre. I played a lot of Lethal Company. I moved more over to Repo due to its more advanced base game mechanics and such. I still have fond memories. Little Big Planet sounds awesome. Sadly, I wasn't part of that era. Is Peak Peak? I think so. Oh yeah, intro stage. I'm sorry, I was focusing on other things. My apologies, Lepadio. True, it does have a level creator. Let's see, did you make the stage? Yeah, no. I already covered this. I mean, I already covered the level by you. I want to pick something else. Let me check the official server to see if something pointed out. Alright, more Halloween stuff. Not that. Eight Up is Spooky Woman. 1-10-3 version 2. My space 470. 74 play, score 28. I made a correction, Jedok. I already covered the level by you earlier in the stream, so I'm gonna push the oil truck level to next week. I misspoke there. I get mauled to death. Lethal Company is one of those games where I'm only gonna be playing it really in co-op with friends. And probably with the more players mod. It's, rather more, compared to something like Repo and many of the other games, it's very punishing in single player if you screw up. Where did Jaden go? Ah, talking about Metal Slug Tactics? Yeah. Oh yeah, in Discord. Never mind. I thought I missed something. It's fine. Will I try your level pack of your last level to level pack another time? Yes, next week. That's understandable. Spoopy. I mean, if people are interested in if enough people are interested in me streaming Lethal Company, Repo, or any of one of those games, I'll be happy to do so. But I need at least a bunch of other people interested. I'm not gonna play those games solo. Like, a lot of the fun comes in playing in groups, either known or unknown, and reacting to the crazy situations, the crazy impromptu situations that pop up. Like the time a few days ago when I was playing Repo online with randos, how most of us, how 3 or 4 of us got mauled by a trudge. And the rest of us had to pat. Oh my goodness, this is great. Whoever did this right, pat them on the back. And the rest of us had to get to the next extraction and respond to heads that way. I will say this, Repo is currently accessible as a free trial until Monday. And, well, there's certain other things I can discuss if you want to go into Discord DMs. I won't say it out here. Oh no, I wasn't paying attention! Enough people have to be interested. You say we, but you need to actually have enough audience support for me to cover it. Yeah, the reason why I picked it this week is because Halloween. That's why. I say that, but there are wink wink nudge nudge ways to extend the trial. Remember, that game runs off of peer-to-peer, so... Yeah, I'm not dealing with you. One of the few times, very few occasions where dodge roll comes in handy. Incredible, isn't it? Slowly clambering forwards. Be careful of fake blocks. Which didn't spawn, thank goodness. Oh no. How do we do this? Okay. I don't trust this. I'm gonna assume that's one of these is fake. Probably doze over the spikes. Okay, that section was spoopy, but it was more of a fake out actually. And Stone Man's the master of this castle. Be gone. This is my new house. Rompy stage, but I expected by this point. Let me take 2 or 3 more levels from the most popular queue and I'll finish off. Oh wait. It's pretty obvious what my favorite stage of this episode is going to be. I kind of wish there was something a little bit better though. No offense to that level. 9th up is Dusk District by Pedro73. 168 plays, score 94. Yeah, I stole it from somewhere. It's better. Okay. Promising looking start. In terms of visuals, at least. Up or helmet? The helmet doesn't lead to anything. Hi. Here we go. Hang on. There we go. Yoink. Danger. Stop. Freeze. Go into the fire. Okay, didn't recognize. I could have screwed myself over. Bye. Hey, Eddie. Okay. Oh, fell too fast. Right next to the checkpoint, isn't it? The stage isn't really... I know the stage doesn't really push itself too far with its mechanics or enemies, but it's a overall better designed one. Sometimes stages don't need to be spectacular to be fun to play. Like, this is also kind of in the rompy level, but compared to Jedi and Sunflower, it does make heavy use of its main mechanics. Okay, compared to Jedi, probably. Yep, there are EXE Black. We got a lot of decorations. That's understandable, Jane. We'll see you tonight then. Excuse me. Checkpoint. Whoa. Like, it's using a combination of tree main mechanics, the conveyor belts, the falling blocks, and the impact platforms. And it's using them in neat ways. Not the most advanced setups, but at least they're varying up stuff. Plus, it is suitable for the intermediate skill level. It's not a pushover. And there isn't really any cheese to be found. Unless you count being able to destroy mid-bosses, but that comes part and parcel with this. Dr. Wily. Snake Man. Neck Man. Bye. No, you're not overreacting. If you've been away from this game for quite a while, it is impressive seeing all the things the devs have added. And these are more the obvious things. Like, as much as I criticize Maker, I overall think it's been more than a positive than a negative. Like, I think the devs could have done a better job with the organizational and management side and releasing updates on a more consistent schedule, but for what is basically a fan-made, fan-game live service title, what the devs have accomplished is very impressive. Like, I can't really think of any other live service game off the top of my head that is basically also a fan game. A free fan game, to be specific. Semi-regularly getting updates for the last 7 years. The devs didn't have to go that far, but they have and still are. showing dedication to the community. The only other close thing I can think of is maybe on the Mario side, but I don't have enough experience there. What constitutes a good year, a bad year, or a mediocre year? It really mainly applies to personal experience from a person to person, or on an individual level. If you're talking on a worldwide basis, however, it's a lot more complicated to dictate. Like, how do you define a good year on a worldwide basis when you're trying to take into account billions upon billions of experiences? Billions of individual experiences that are somewhat shared, or vary in terms of how shared they are. In those situations, you have to either aggregate or focus on a certain aspect of it. Like, if you're talking in terms of weather disasters, you could argue that way. But if you're talking about individual experience, if you're talking about shared experiences or aggregating everything, it's complicated. Oh, I care, J Butters. I know the joke, but I feel at a certain point sarcasm becomes counterproductive. I would say there, for example, if you take for example the video game industry, I'd say there were better years for AAA gaming, or more memorable banner years for AAA gaming compared to others. I don't know if I'd say I'm 100% engaged, because if I was, I'd be able to remember off the top of my head the new features in each major version. And I'd still do 2 streams every week for Maker, but I'd say like I'm 50% engaged. I still enjoy playing the game, but my enjoyment of it has diminished over time, but it's only natural. That's why every year I take a break from Maker to recharge my batteries. Otherwise, at certain points, I've become a little bit too jaded and overly critical on stages. That's when I realize, oh wait, I need to take a break. It was one of the worst years. Having mass death and destruction is usually a good indicator for a terrible year. Mass death and worldwide destruction. As for the stage itself, aesthetically it was neat, and I also appreciate that it went a bit further with its mechanics. Somewhat. I already have my idea of what my favorite stage is now. Gaming. I'm remembering now, skid of But again, what is the best year of gaming is also heavily affected by personal experience, and it's also dependent on which area of the world or which region are you talking about. Are you just referring to America, Canada, both, the West in general? NA versus EU? Because now, especially in the early to mid eras of gaming, there are a lot of titles which didn't get delivered to Europe or get published in Europe directly, or were delayed. Not to mention, there are a lot of titles that never made it overseas, or the other way around. So it in itself is subjective. If you ask me, for example, what I think my favorite year in gaming was, or what I consider to be one of the best years of gaming, probably 2004. Or, I think 1999? When did Saints Row... Oh. That came out later than I expected. Huh. The reason why I say I have to check if it was 1999 or 1998. I think it was 1998. I'll have to double check. The reason why I say 2004 is because we had Half-Life 2, Prime 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, Warcraft, GTA, KOTOR, Ratchet & Clank, Counter-Strike Source, major Zelda titles, Spider-Man 2, not to mention there are many other titles which I haven't mentioned because they're less major. 1998 because Nintendo 64 major titles. After that though, it's a bit complicated because I was more of a PC gamer, so yeah. But again, subjective. And of course, it's a bit fuzzy. Keep in mind, when we talk about 1999 and 2000, what was considered AAA gaming back then would probably be considered AA gaming today. Like, it's difficult to compare. I'd still argue that 2004 was one of the better years because I'm pointing out some of the headliner titles, sure, but that also goes down to indie stuff. Or lesser known stuff. Indie games really got their ball rolling from... let me actually check. I think 2008 and onwards? At least the way we think about the indies. I know, we had indie games released before then, but it's more of a case of getting the public consciousness. And of course, when we start talking about what's the best year in gaming overall, the broader you make the scale, the more difficult it is to talk about what constitutes it. And again, I really don't like... It's difficult to compare AAA of the early 2000s with what monstrosity it's turned into in current year. It also helps in the 7th gen that the people who grew up on the NES and SNES eras, they started to grow up and reach the point in their lives where they had the time, money, and resources to actually make games that were based on those nostalgic eras. I agree, Jay Butters. If there ends up being a crash, it's not gonna take out the entire market as it almost did in the West with what happened back with the Atari era. The video game industry has well established itself enough. If a crash is gonna happen, it's gonna be on the AAA sphere, and with everything that's been happening, I think it's more than expected. But I can have a whole discussion about that some other time. Sooner rather than later. Like, come on. I don't mind the existence of having AAA titles. What I do mind is when major publishers and developers only do AAA titles. It's just very high risk, high reward, and it results in a lot of experience. Most of them experiences from them. I'm using the term experience as a deliberately more vague term because it goes beyond video games. It results in those being pandered towards a lower common denominator, so to speak, and a lot of basically more of the same, just repackaged in different formats. Sometimes we still get awesome stings, but But thank you for listening to my next 12-minute TED Talk. I usually prefer talking about this with my friends because, yeah. Like, I wish... See, I wish Joe and Jordan were here because they have way more experience in the console side. Like, we could have a whole... Like, most of my experience on the eras of gaming come from the West, come from a North America perspective. Buster's perspective comes from a more European-based one, and especially going into from PS up to PS1 and probably PS2. Yeah, it's gonna be a very different level of experiences. Same if for example, if I grew up in the East, specifically referring to Japan or South Korea. But, well, let's actually do one more stage before we end off the stream, please. I've lost track of what I was doing. Yeah, Half-Life 1 has aged surprisingly well. Unfortunately, J Butters, they're busy in the morning. They're busy during the morning and afternoon. They're only really available during the evening. Like, I know most of the people who watch these streams are only really available in the morning. Sometimes we do get a lot of viewers in evening streams, see Sage, and sometimes NextFest. But it would be, I would like to talk about some of these more things with someone that's more knowledgeable and willing to give a different perspective. I need to fully play Half-Life 1. Yeah, real life work. That being said, once Strider Freaks actually gets to another major demo, of course, they're gonna be there. So the 10th and final level of the stream is Halloween World by SMB Mario JPN123. 140 plays, score 56. Do I expect this to be interesting? No. I drew this in because Halloween. You know, I'm probably gonna play Half-Life 1 first, but I am curious of checking out Black Mesa. Once again, many props to the sprite artists for these Halloween skins. They're great. Now I can really have the zombie and undead team levels that I've always wanted. I don't really... Actually, I don't know, think I haven't... Okay, I need to see that again. Wait. Oh my gosh, this is the first time I've seen this sprite. Jelly octopus. Yes! Yes! It actually applies jelly. Okay, screen transition is a little bit wonky, but... Thank you, devs, thank you. Okay, it was worth it only for that, to play this level. Even if the stage isn't the best, the fact we got to experience this... Wonderful. Half-Life 2 is, I would say, an improvement. Half-Life 1 was a breakthrough in terms of narrative-focused FPSs. And I haven't really played one of those on the channel yet. If you're more of a gameplay-focused person, then its breakthroughs probably won't hit as well with you. And yeah. It did influence... I mean, it did, of course it did influence COD. It influenced many FPSs from then to come. What am I saying? J Rolo. The Rolo. it for keep in mind when it was released, was it 98 or 99? It was both a technical marvel and a narrative marvel, because up to that point, keep in mind, most video games, especially FPSs, had just excuse plots, or if they had more major plots, they were usually just reserved for text boxes or very dedicated sections, or between major episodes. Like, they may have plots that weren't excuses, but the way they were presented wasn't really what we consider to be organic. Half-Life 1, though, the breakthrough was that it was one of the first major titles in the FPS genre that really integrated the story into the main gameplay loop, directly with the dialogue, progression, enemies, etc., etc. Quake, I think is, I know it's a bit of a hot take. I think Quake, especially 1 and 2, have a better gameplay loop. But it's a little bit of an unfair comparison, seeing as Half-Life came after Quake. I think it came after? When? Let me check. Half-Life 1 come... Yeah, it came out 2 years after. And, Half-Life's engine is directly based off of the Quake engine too, so... So if anything, it has a lot to thank from Quake to laying down the groundwork. I have a lot to say about cutscene. I have a lot to say about dedicated cutscenes, and I'll save that for later, J Butters. we're running a little bit low on time here, so I'll end off on this point. Quake also had animation. It had more animation for the monsters and the player character, I'd say, especially the monsters. Half-Life 1 took it further in the sense of we actually had more lip-synced animations and character animations. Previous FPSs did experiment with them, and they did have it. I'm not going to argue that previous games didn't have animations or try having lip-syncing. FPSs specifically, trying to clarify. But Half-Life is the one that really married everything together in a pretty well thought out package. Like previous experiments, I'd say, were either far less well known or more unpolished, whereas with Half-Life, Valve had the whole Valve level of quality to it. As for the stage, as I expected, kind of forgettable. I liked the pink jelly though. So overall, of the 10 levels I covered in today's morning stream, my favorite one is Dusk District by Pedro73, with an honorable mention going to Pumpkin Flood by Jedok74. I know Pedro's level isn't really that spectacular, but I appreciate it because it does try using its mechanics a bit more, as in the gimmicks, without going to a level that's too difficult for most users. Yeah, I do wish it did go further with the main mechanics, but as you know, the further you try experimenting, the more you'll alienate players who aren't as skilled. And Jedok for iterating more on the mechanics involving the moving platforms. Appreciated. And thank you to everyone else who submitted your levels to me. It's really appreciated. So before I end off, as I want to promise, let's do the art showcase. Would you let her break her knees and abuse you physically and mentally? No thanks. That's overrated. Just Junko. Yeah, not interested. The Roaring Knight absorbed artifact. The Ultra Knight. Inspired by Ultra Necrozma. Alright, it's time to maximize the power of friendship. Call upon everyone. Template by Wolfgabe. Bricks of Series by Arcade Lab Donut Games. Bricks of Atlantis, Virtual Boy, for kids and adults. Arcade Lab. And thus, this concludes the short art showcase and subsequently the stream. Thank you to everyone who either submitted their levels, submitted their art, or especially participated in the chat discussions. It's thanks to your continued support why I continue to produce videos and stream on the channels. It is really appreciated. And I apologize for half the stream, or what felt like half the stream, mainly focusing on chat discussions than the actual levels. So, if you're enjoying this or any other video or stream on the channels, please rate, comment, favorite, and or subscribe, as they all help them out. And don't forget to follow me on Blue Sky and Mastodon as well, and join the Discord server, as I regularly post updates there. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in less than 6 hours for the level pack stream. Thanks for watching.